Go ahead and start the recording.
Thank you. Go, Andrea, the floor is yours.
Well, okay. Hi, everybody. It's very nice to see people here, though I see a lot of black boxes. It's still nice to see people here. I am the chair of Dr. Mack. Welcome you to this meeting. And Colleen, take it away.
Thanks, Andrea, and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Dr. Mack's September Regional Coordinating Council meeting. Today, we're excited to host a panel discussion on accessible winter activities, ways to get involved, and connection building in our community. We have an amazing panel lined up, but first, Steph will kick us off with a mission reminder and some Zoom tips.
Thanks, Colleen. For our new attendees, a warm welcome. We like to start each meeting by sharing our mission as its core principle. It's the core principle that guides everything that we do. Dr. Mack's mission takes a multi-level approach to inform and empower people to overcome mobility barriers through education, collaboration, and advocacy, ultimately enhancing their quality of life. If you haven't already, please go ahead and type your name and organization into the chat. We kindly request that everyone stay muted unless you're speaking, but please feel free to use the chat as needed for questions or comments. You can also raise your virtual hand using the reactions button to contribute. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and do some brief staff introductions and updates from the Dr. Mack team, starting with Latoya.
Thanks, Steph. I'm Latoya Prenti, the development manager here. I also oversee quite a few different things, specifically volunteers and interns. As you've known, for the past few meetings, we've really been trying to amp those up. We are really excited to say that we have been moving forward with some volunteers and interns, and we have one present today. So I would like to welcome Marissa Fletcher from Metro University. She will be joining us with her BSW. So Marissa, the floor is yours.
Hi guys, my name is Marissa. I'm a senior at MSU Denver, so I'm really excited to join the Dr. Mack team and absorb all the knowledge I can from everybody. It's been a great experience so far, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of the year. So, yeah.
Thank you, Marissa. Malia?
Hi, everyone. I'm Malia. I'm the Administrative Project Coordinator at Dr. Mack. And the bigger project that I've been working on lately is outreach. I'm working with Maria on packaging up our Getting There guides with introduction letters. We're sending those out to the DMVs and the high schools, trying to get more and more people to know in the Denver metro area who Dr. Mack is and what we do. Arthur?
Hi, I'm Arthur. I'm the Outreach and Development Coordinator. I've been focusing on our 2026 membership campaign. I know it's already getting to that time. We've updated our membership benefits, so if you want to check out our website, you can for more information. Also, if you have any questions or you want to sign up for our membership, please email me. I'll put my email in the chat for any of that. So thank you so much. Next is Stephanie.
Yeah, hi again, everyone. I'm Stephanie O'Neill, the program manager here at Dr. Mack. I think I probably talk about this at every meeting, but travel training and tech trainings are in full swing. We're getting a lot scheduled for this year and next year. So if you are planning out your spring or summer or even winter, even fall activities, please reach out to me or anyone at the Dr. Mack team if you're interested in getting a travel training or tech training series set up. Both are exciting and fun ways to get your community involved, and yeah, looking forward to getting those going. Maria?
Hi everyone, my name is Maria Griffin and I am Dr. Mack's Bilingual Marketing and Program Coordinator. I would like to share that soon we will have the 17th edition of our anticipated Getting There guide ready to share with our writers, partners, and members. You can also find the newest transportation partners additions to the online version of the Getting There guide. Also, please stay tuned on our social media platforms. We will be asking for your feedback in a community survey that will help us to better identify your transportation needs. Thank you. Latoya?
Thanks, team. We're really excited to dive into our panel discussions. We've set aside about 10 minutes for each panel question. And if you guys do have questions for our panelists, please just drop them in the chat. Today's panelist features Kevin Wilson from Ignite Adaptive Sports, Rachel Huggins from Adaptive Sports Association, Heather Collins from Wilderness on Wheels, Henry Hermes from Ascendigo, and Bill Murphy from Foresight Adventure Guides for the Blind. We'd like to give each of them a couple of minutes to introduce themselves and their organizations before we start with the questions. Kevin, let's start with you.
Hello, I am Kevin Wilson, the Program Director for Ignite Adaptive Sports. We provide adaptive snow sports lessons up at Eldora Ski Resort to anyone with disability, whether it's cognitive, physical, it doesn't matter. We get them out on the snow skiing or snowboarding or somehow sliding on snow. And yeah, so I'm happy to be here, be part of this panel and help improve accessibility across the state for getting people outside and up to the mountains. It's a gorgeous place to live, so let's get as many people up there as we can.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rachel Huggins. I am the program director for the Adaptive Sports Association in Durango, Colorado. Our primary mission is to provide outdoor recreation to any individual that has a disability. I think one of the things that we do really well is offering those outdoor recreation opportunities regardless of a person's ability to pay. That's where we shine, and we do both recreation activities in the summer and the winter. Super stoked to be here. Thank you.
Heather?
Hi, I'm Heather. I'm with Wilderness on Wheels. I'm the administrative manager. And Wilderness on Wheels has been operating for 39 years. We're in Grant, Colorado, which is just off of Highway 285, a little over an hour from Denver. We have a mountain facility that was built to be accessible. So we have wheelchair accessible boardwalks for hiking and accessible cabins, huts, and tent sites for camping. We're open seasonally, so we're not open year round due to the high elevation because we're at about 9,000 feet, but we're open through mid-October.
Thank you. Henry?
Hello, everyone. My name is Henry Hermes. I am the Adventures Program Manager with Ascendigo Autism Services, and we are lucky enough to be able to serve everyone and anyone on the autism spectrum. Kind of my side of the organization, we put on a really cool 9-week summer camp for kids and adults here in Carbondale, Colorado, in the Roaring Fork Valley, kind of right between Glenwood and Aspen. And then we have a really cool ski program. Shout out to Ignite as well. I know you guys from my days at the Breckenridge Outdoor Education Center and to Adaptive Sports Association. You guys do awesome work. And we definitely do similar work, but just mainly with folks on the autism spectrum and some common comorbidities or co-diagnoses. And yeah, I'm super stoked to be here and definitely happy to share my thoughts, whether it comes from the Ascendigo perspective or my time at the BOEC. So thank you to everyone for including me.
Thanks, Henry. And Bill?
Bill, I think you're
Okay,
muted.
there we go. I'm so sorry to be late. I'm just having computer problems like you wouldn't believe. Well, you could probably believe it because I expect you've all had those at some point or another. I am with Foresight Ski Guides. We have officially changed our name to Foresight Adventure Guides for the Blind. And we made that change primarily because we have adopted and adapted into a summer program for the youth that we deal with. And that involves, obviously, we have the kids up for skiing and snowboarding, but now we have them up for river rafting, rock climbing, hiking, just some really good outdoor adventures. So we thought a name change would be a little more descriptive. Foresight has been in business for 25 years. and I have been associated with them since their beginning. And before that, I was with the Colorado Ski School for the Blind, which was something that had been created by I gotta stop and think. It was a long, long time ago. I've been doing this for 45 years, working with the visually impaired and skiing. Um, but the school, the Colorado School for the Deaf and Blind down in Colorado Springs, originally had a relationship with Vail. That all changed when Vail, believe it or not, went bankrupt, and they reorganized. And now we have come back as Foresight Ski Guides. We have, like say, the summer program. We deal with adults as far as, and only with visually impaired and blind is our only world that we work in. So we have many adults, lots of kids, and we have a lot of fun.
Thank you so much, Bill. Now we'll go
Mhm.
ahead and start off with some of our questions. Again, thank you for all of the panelists here. Arthur, take it away.
Yeah, so for our first question, what are the key barriers that prevent people with disabilities from participating in winter outdoor activities, and how can we collectively work to dismantle them?
And if anyone,
Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say if any of the panelists want to jump in, you can just kind of popcorn around.
Absolutely. I could go ahead and start if y'all would like.
Okay.
And the first thing that pops into my head when I'm thinking about barriers to folks hopping into the like winter outdoor activities world, mainly when it comes to skiing and snowboarding, is the cost, in that it has become such a kind of high level sport to enter. There's, you got to take into account the travel, the lodging, the equipment. And that's why I really liked what one of our panelists said about trying to meet people with where they're at in terms of, even if they have $0 to contribute, being able to still give them an experience. And I think at Ascendigo, we're definitely trying to get scholarships involved into many of our programs. But yeah, we tend to see that just the distance folks need to travel, the accommodations that they need, and then just all the money it takes into actually getting to the ski resort can be a lot for folks for sure. And even if we give a scholarship for a lesson or for their equipment, there's still all that original expenditures that they would need to make in order to even get there.
Yeah, I think what Henry's saying is right. The transportation is a real, I think, a real drawback. If you're dealing with like, and again, I'm mostly in the ski area world, but if you're dealing with ski areas down along the I-70 corridor, the Breckenridges, Vales, Beaver Creeks and stuff, Bustang provides a pretty good means of getting up into the mountains, I think, for many things. With our particular program, we work only with skiers and snowboarders that can ski and snowboard. We don't have the capacity to work with the never ever, but there are some places that can work with that. I think Access Unbound is a really good source. They work primarily with Vail and Beaver Creek. Breckenridge Outdoor Education Center, the BOEC, is just an awesome organization. There's several of them out there, as Henry has pointed out. Steamboat has stars, and I think they all have some capacity to work with the cost factor. Fear is another thing that sometimes keeps people away from from, I guess, stepping up and doing some stuff. It's one of the things we work with a lot with our kids, is the fear factor, particularly with rock climbing. And they have overcome much of their fear and they love it. We get them up on the first run, which is an easy one, and we can't get them off. They got to keep coming back and doing more. So anyhow, that I think is a big somewhat of a drawback, cost and transportation.
Yeah, I would agree with both of those. Those are probably the two main barriers that we see. One that I think people don't think of a lot is just the not even knowing that skiing or whatever recreation sport you're doing, but specifically skiing is an option for somebody that has a disability. We'll frequently have people come in and be like, I didn't even know this was possible. I didn't know that as somebody with a spinal cord injury that I can actually downhill ski. And so just that lack of knowledge, I think, is a barrier. And then individuals with disabilities and families that have individuals with disabilities, they're already doing a lot. Doctor's appointments, dealing with other services. And so recreation tends to be put on the back burner. And so some barriers that are things that we can solve on our end is to make it easier for them to enter those types of sports. So making scheduling easier, making the paperwork process easier, just those little things that you would never think about. But for somebody with a disability, they're doing that on a daily basis. And so making those types of things possible while still getting what we need in order to operate.
I agree with what everybody else said. I mean, it's huge. I'm a mono skier myself, so just getting into the sport pretty much takes a grant to buy, an $8,000 to $10,000 piece of equipment. So it's a huge prohibitive cost to a lot of our students. It's just getting into it. How do they get started? And something also I think that hasn't been touched on, but is the biggest one is just the physical accessibility. When you get to some of these towns in the mountains or some of the resorts, it's not really accessible when you get there. I know, for example, I went skied at Beaver Creek for the first time a couple years ago. I'd never been. Person I was with who had skied it often, he didn't know the route to get through for someone in a wheelchair. So it was like 3 elevators and a half a mile of rolling through shops and stuff to get on snow. And, just that a lot of people are going to show up and be like, this isn't worth it and turn around and leave. Or they don't even want to sign up to try it because they're like, there's going to be barriers. It's going to be a pain in the ass. I don't want to deal with all of that. So I'm not even going to attempt to it. And that's how a lot of programs, at least at the resorts are. You go to BOAC, they're not easy to get to from where you're parking. Beaver Creek, getting on the snowmass, the place I've been to, they're not even easy to make it to the snow, much, the transportation to get there is one thing, but then once you're there, what do you do? If you don't know the location, you don't know the place, you don't know anybody, it can be a 2 to 3 hour, process of just figuring out how do I make it to the lift. I think that's a big one that we've really got to look at.
Yeah, and I think, Kevin, to that point, and again, my experience is almost all with Vail. Vail is pretty friendly that way. Lots of ramps, lots of ability to get dropped off through vehicles and then have good access onto the slopes and into the ski areas. I'd mentioned one of the things that we do, and I know we're all adults sitting here right now, but we work a lot with kids, and I don't know if part of this program or plan is finding a way to reach out to kids. But from our kids' standpoint, if they've never skied before, we do have a relationship with the Vail Adaptive School, ski school. They cut us a really, really good rate that any kid that has never skied before, we can get them up onto the hill and get them skiing at no cost to them. I think that's the real key. Ski gear, Vail Sports donates all of our ski gear so that a kid can come up and learn to ski for nothing. It's about that simple. But again, I don't know if we're talking kids, talking adults, or talking the entire population. So.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for all of that. Does anyone have any questions they'd like for our panelists regarding that question?
Just a little feedback. Like Bill mentioned, I feel like kids are always fearless, right? Sometimes it comes, never really considered that fear factor for these type of sports. And I feel like and most of the times could be the parents still having these fears. So thank you for sharing that, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Jamie.
Yeah, I mentioned in the chat, I'm currently negotiating with CDOT to create a travel TV program. And what it is to promote Bustang and the towns that they stop at. So if your program is close to a town, um, I would love to highlight your program on TV and also make sure that our disability community knows about Bustang and where it can take them. So I left my email above that message, so please contact me if you're interested in that. Thanks.
And just
That
to
is
touch on that real quick, the bus sting is accessible, the snow sting is accessible, and then the train from Denver to Winter Park is also accessible. So there are some options for getting to some locations. For us up at Eldora, the Boulder bus station, that main downtown bus station runs up to our resort every hour or two. So we're really lucky being here on the Front Range that we do have public transportation during the season bringing people up, and they are accessible buses. So that's really nice. So there are some options out there, but it's not everybody knows about them. Until I was reading up on some stuff about this, I didn't realize bus staying, snow staying, and the train out to Winter Park were all three accessible. So that's really good to know that and have that information to provide other people if they're can make it to your resort or going somewhere else that it might stop at that you know of.
okay. We're going to move on to our next question then. Steph, would you mind taking that over?
Yeah, thanks everyone for that information. So I know a lot of our panelists mentioned transportation being a barrier, cost, intimidation, fear, just some of the towns and resorts not being accessible. So our next question is kind of beyond adaptive skiing and snowboarding. What other winter activities like snowshoeing, Nordic skiing, ice fishing, things like that can be made accessible? And then also, what role do organizations like Dr. Mack and some other community organizations play in expanding these opportunities? So it could be some kind of like advocacy, kind of that avenue. So I'll just let if anyone wants to jump in first.
Yeah,
I would.
I'll start
Oh,
on
go
that if
ahead,
you don't
Kevin.
mind. Yeah. I will say definitely snowshoeing, Nordic skiing. We do snowshoeing. We have the Colorado Center for the Blind up every Friday during the season. And a lot of them like to go out and snowshoe. A lot of them, again, we go back to the fear thing, the fear of sliding down a mountain on snow that you've never even felt before for the first time, is pretty big. So a lot of our blind participants love to get out snowshoe or Nordic ski as well. We do a lot of that. Same with we have a lot of disabled veterans with PTSD. They like to get out snowshoe or Nordic just where it's quiet, it's slow, they get away from the crowds. So those are two things that we do, and they're pretty easy. That doesn't take a lot, as far as snowshoeing. Nordic, I mean, if you Nordic skis will work for just about anybody. There are Nordic set skis, so we do have one of those as well for people to use. I don't have much information on ice fishing, but it seems like it would be a pretty easy, sport to make accessible. But yeah, definitely snowshoeing and Nordic. It's huge. It's huge for, like I said, for our participants that are blind and our participants that have PTSD and they're just, they just want to get out where it's quiet and away from people. So I think I'd assume most other programs that work in the winter are probably offering those at some way at this point, but they can for sure be made accessible if people aren't doing them yet.
I think, and again, in the blind and visual arena, Ski for Light is a really good Nordic program, and they will be most welcoming to new blind and visually impaired to work in the world of Nordic skiing. But yeah, Ski for Light is it's just a neat organization, and it's all Nordic cross country. They try and think if they do any snowshoeing. I know where we operate out of Vail for our Foresight program is in the Gold Peak area. And right next to our desk is the snowshoeing part of the Vail activities up there. I know that if we had sufficient numbers asking to snowshoe, we could probably arrange a fairly reasonable rate and a very reasonable way for people to get out. So that's just a thought. But Ski for Light is really for Nordic skiing. It really is a place to look.
Yeah, as an organization, we really don't do a whole lot other than downhill skiing. But I think just talking about this profession as a whole, we sit in a pretty good position to reach out to other organizations that offer, regular winter activities that we can teach people how to adapt those opportunities so that we can send individuals that have disabilities to those organizations to get that same experience. Like I'm thinking specifically of we've worked with the San Juan Mountain Association in this area. They do a lot of cross-country skiing and snowshoeing and things of that nature. And so some of the things that we have done is give them the tools and the knowledge to be able to adapt those particular activities. If somebody with a disability were to come and be like, hey, I want to do that. I think that's where us as a profession sit in a really good position to talk to those types of organizations. We're not necessarily the ones that are doing it, but we definitely provide that information and tools to make other organizations that aren't necessarily disability successful.
Mm-hmm. And I actually used to work at the Breckenridge Nordic Center, and they used to be affiliated with the Frisco Nordic Center as well. And those are two awesome places to do snowshoeing, Nordic skiing. It's also great for the population that you guys serve because they're right off the Breck Free Ride or the Summit Stage, which are both accessible public transit organizations. So it's this nice kind of accessible link up to get in there. And then, like the other panelists have mentioned, other adaptive organizations will come and use those facilities to give folks an even more tailored experience.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you all for sharing that. Yeah, I think having those partnerships and connections with other organizations is really important. That's a lot of what we do here at Dr. Mac, right? You can't do everything, but there's enough, enough going on in the community that you can kind of equip yourselves with different resources to create opportunities like that. So yeah, thank you for sharing all that. Any questions for the panelists on this question? Right. Okay. Well, in that case, let's go ahead and move on to the third question, and Maria is going to facilitate that one.
Thank you. I think that this meeting is an example of providing a platform for the opportunity to network and learn more about this type of organizations. But how can we better promote and publicize accessible winter activities and adapted programs across Colorado, ensuring that individuals and families who could benefit from them are aware of their existence?
I'll jump in there again. Go ahead, Rachel.
Well, I was just gonna say, be in tune with disability organizations, whether that's nationwide, local level, state level. There's a lot of great organizations out there that promote pretty easily all of our organizations and what we're doing, and those are easy ways to access that information.
Yeah, if you know about though, I will say it's tough. I lived here in Boulder for 5 years and had a ski resort 15 miles from me. I moved to Colorado to start skiing again and didn't even know about Ignite. And I looked into stuff. I knew about Breck and Winter Park and all these other larger resorts and their programs. So it is tough to get that information out. And how you got to be out in the community. We do outreach constantly. Between now and the ski season, I'm out at events at least 2 to 3 times a week for the next 2 months, all over the Front Range area from Boulder to Denver to Fort Collins, Colorado Springs. And, that's we're lucky that we are on the Front Range. We're not up in the mountains, so we're much easier to access than all the other programs, but we still have to get the information out, and I don't know how many times I meet someone here in Boulder that's 15 miles from us and they don't know we exist. They have a kid who has a disability or they have a disability themselves, and I'll go and start talking to them and they just don't know about it. So, we do put it out there. We're in the community. There are national organizations like Move United or the big ones that give grants as well, like Challenged Athlete Foundation, Kelly Brush Foundation. and you can find out about programs through them. But if you don't know that, you don't know it. So you don't know where to go to look for it. So it's, I don't know that if you called up Boulder City that they would recommend you to come up to Ignite. I don't know if they have that kind of information. So it's getting everybody to be aware of what's available, in their area or in their state. There's obviously we're available here, but man, you go across the mountains and there's so many other great programs to go to as well. But it's just, yeah, it's trying to get that information out there. And our best way of doing it is just be in the community as much as possible. If there's something to go out and do, get out, set a table up, and talk to people.
Yeah, I think, Kevin, what you mentioned, one of them was Move United. And I think all of the ski areas, maybe all of them, Move United is a great source of for providing insurance and just a number of things. And I know a number of adaptive programs use those, use Move United. I guess the question then is that if how do you get the clients, if you will, of Move United to get the word out to the general public that you're trying to serve, that we have all these programs, and that's probably one of the best ways we have found. And again, we market in a fairly small area. We work through schools. We work through up in Vail through advertising through the Vail Daily about what we do. But again, it's sort of limited. But if there's some ways to email or broadcast what's out there, Steamboat has the STARS program. Just the different. Trying to think of the program down in Crested Butte. All the ski areas seem to have some sort of program to work with adaptive, and not just visual impairments, but with all adaptive needs. And how do we get that out to that community?
I wanted to mention we recently attended the Adaptive Recreation Day at Staunton State Park. I think Ignite Sports might have been there as well. And I would really love to see more events like that, because a lot of organizations came together. They demoed adaptive equipment. A lot of people from the public came out, and this was a great way to get people aware of the programs. I had so many people stop by Wilderness on Wheels and say they just had no idea we existed. So I think coming together, the organizations coming together, having these adaptive recreation days would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Something that pops into my head is finding out where do folks with disabilities for sure go, like maybe to receive healthcare, such as like the VA, various doctors' offices, like organizations like you guys, and almost trying to build like a pamphlet or like a kind of something that you can hand out that just shows all folks, no matter where they're from, hey, if you're in this part of Colorado, look for these organizations, just kind of like a catch-all, because like kind of Kevin, as you said, like coming into the community, that definitely like catches everybody who's like walking by. But it's like, where do folks with wheelchairs for sure go every month or every year? Where do folks with autism for sure go every month or every year? And like empowering those places with the information.
I think also sharing information, collaborating, talking about other programs. I know, Heather, we get your newsletters and we send it out to our students and let them know when y'all are having events. And that's how you let other people know when you know about something. I didn't know about you guys. And, again, I lived in Boulder for a long time. And then I heard about it. I was like, they're just straight over the mountains from me. I lived in Netherlands. I was like, they're just literally right over there. And I didn't even know. But now we send it out to our students. I think y'all just had, it's either upcoming or y'all just had an event out there, and we sent that out to all of our athletes. And it's don't be afraid to push another program. It's, there's plenty out there to share. That's a lot of programs don't want to mention another programs, like, well, we don't want to lose you for them to come there. Like, there's plenty. We don't have enough instructors. We can't like put on enough lessons for the request that we get. We still turn away 15 to 20% of requests. So I have no problem saying, hey, go to Breck, go to Winter Park, go to Durango, you know, go to any of these adaptive programs. They're all out there and available. And I know some of the programs do that as well. Some of the programs, they don't want to mention another program. They don't want you going somewhere else. They want you coming there to spend their money. Even if they can't get you in, they don't want you to find out there's another place to go. To me, it's like there's a wealth. We're not running out of people. You know, matter of fact, we're probably most of us are limited on how many lessons we can give or how many participants we can take in. And you know, if we could take in more, we could. We can't. So hey, go there. We still want people to get their you know, to see what there is out there. So, you know, just share the wealth, share what's out there, tell everybody about all the other programs.
Thank you, everyone. As an organization, I would like to say same. We know the struggle of the networking and collaboration and getting the word out about the services and programs that we provide. Is there any questions for our panelists? Andrea, I see your hand up.
Yeah, and I put the comment in the chat. They need a getting there guide sort of thing that gets handed out through your various organizations, others who aren't here. That would be perfect.
That's what I was thinking too, Andrea, something similar to the getting their guide, but for what they do.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. You know, I'm listening here. I don't know I don't even come to close to knowing all the programs that are in this state or available primarily to the citizens of this state that need the services. I don't know what the programs are from an outdoor standpoint. And I know our group, say we deal blind and visually impaired, but we get all kinds of questions about other, other disabilities, and it'd be nice to be able to refer. Say, hey, try this. These folks do that. They're located here. Just that kind of stuff. I think it'd be nice if everybody had that on their desk.
Thank you, everyone. And later in this meeting, Arthur will be providing some information about how to be more involved with our organizations and how to collectively work together. Now we'll pass it on to Stephanie for the next question.
Yeah, thanks, Maria. So given that many of Colorado's outdoor spaces are remote, how can we improve transportation and lodging options to make accessing, there we go, adaptive winter programs and trails more feasible for people with disabilities? So I know a lot of you already talked about bus staying and just kind of the general vibe of a lot of towns aren't accessible. So if you have any ideas on how we can improve that, that would be great to hear.
I guess I got an example coming from here in Carbondale, and I'm even seeing it over in Basalt. They are using like Sprinter vans. They're using like Ford Transit vans, and it's basically point to point, by call, by reservation, and I believe they're accessible vans as well. Because like we have an awesome like RAFTA bus system here in the county that can bring you all the way up to the Aspen Snowmass resorts. But often for folks, it's like from their doorstep to one of the bus stops is difficult. So yeah, like definitely check out like Basalt Connect. Check out I'm blanking on the name, but it's affiliated with RAFTA and the Carbondale system. Definitely check out these like point to point by reservation, by call bus services. They're definitely helping a lot.
Henry, can you tell me what was the name of it again? Did you say Salt Connect?
Oh yeah, in Basalt, it's called the Basalt Connect. And
Okay,
then
thank you.
I'm gonna look up the name of the Carbondale one.
Thank you.
I'm gonna say while he's looking that up here, and again, Boulder County, we're lucky we have good public transportation. We have our own shuttle that we go down and pick up, like the Denver VA on the days that they come up, and then the resort has a shuttle that goes around the parking lot that's accessible. So we're really lucky on that. Where we're have no, anything is a place to stay. There's not a resort town at Eldora. There's Netherland, which has like a hotel with 12 rooms. Uh, and that's about it. And it's, finding a place that's accessible is tough. And it's not just there. I go to a ski spec at Breckenridge every December. Uh, I never get a room that's accessible. I go to Winter Sports Clinic, which is at Snowmass every April to teach veterans, and I never get an accessible room. And that's just what you get when you get these mountain towns with these old hotels that were built before the ADA. They just try to squeeze you into whatever they can get you into. And it's like, well, if I can get to the restroom, I'm happy, but that doesn't make the room accessible. And that's Winter Sports Clinic's 400 disabled veterans, and we're all in rooms that are maybe, 3 of them are accessible, and the rest we're just making do. And we find that a lot of the resorts you go to, one, again, because the hotels are older. And then when they do build them, they build out with 2 to 3 accessible rooms, and that's not really enough. I think why not just make every room with a bathroom door wide enough to get into? Just build everything that way. And it's the same thing with Airbnb or anything in the mountain towns. If you're looking for access, you need to have a lot of money because you're generally having to rent some giant 4-bedroom house with the elevator, or you're getting something that's just not very accessible. And that's like I said, we've got that here. We've actually had people stay in Black Hawk and drive down, and they're staying at these casinos, but they're accessible rooms. That's one thing that they do have because they're newer hotels. So I think transportation's one thing, but then when you get there, where do you stay? And it doesn't matter if you're in Breck or Aspen or Vail, any of these towns have very, very limited accessible rooms and spaces to stay at.
Any other thoughts from the panelists?
I would like to kind of build a little bit on what you mentioned, Kevin. I do believe that just like I mentioned, right, it's easier if there are these available options for people with disabilities. And touching on that, I would like to invite everyone too who's interested to our next meeting, where we'll be touching the subject about how to make traveling more accessible too. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. That's really I'm making little notes about the different services for the point-to-point reservation-based services. So yeah, that's good to hear that towns are kind of jumping on that and getting some more services up and running. But yeah, I that's wild to hear that. Unfortunate to hear that people are staying in Black Hawk and then traveling all the way out to the mountains because there's just not an option. Yeah, does anyone have any other questions
I will
for
say something.
this?
We're working with the group they're actually out of Texas. And they want to come up here. They had some land donated to them right outside of Little City, again, or Little Central City, by Blackhawk, in Idaho Springs. And it's a disability group out of Texas that had land, and they're going to build a big condo lodge type thing that's all going to be for accessible athletes. Because they're like, we come up here to Colorado and we want to go do things. We can't stay anywhere. So I think they've had like 5 acres donated, and they want to build at least 20 rooms, if not more. It's still in the very, very early stages. They just had the land donated to them in last year. They've started fundraising. They've already raised a couple of million, but for what they're wanting to build, it's going to be astronomical to build a big, huge, accessible thing up in the mountains. But it's supposed to be. There's a new tram or something at Idaho Springs that's been passed that they're going to be building, and so where it leads up to at the top, they're supposed to be within a half mile or so of that, which will be really cool for people being able to travel down to Idaho Springs. But this is, it could be 5 years out before they have this built or more. But it is. I think it would be cool to see more people doing something like this. The National Ability Center in Park City, which is a adaptive program, they have their own dorms that you can stay in. Same as I know Crested Butte's adaptive program, they have some rooms there you can stay in. So it'd be great if adaptive programs think that way. I know we thought that way. We just built a new building up at Eldora for our program, but there's no lodging, no anything on the mountain, so that wasn't an option for us. But it is an option for some programs, and I think that if they're going to build a new building, put that money and time into it, like go all out, like National Ability Center in Crested Butte, and put some extra lodging in there for people that are have disabilities. It really helps out. I think that's the biggest solution I've seen to the issue so far is just adaptive programs taking it to their own hands and building it out.
Yeah, definitely. That's really cool to hear. Thank you for sharing that. I'll definitely keep an eye out for updates on that. That's awesome. Okay, cool. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next question. So kind of shifting the lens to volunteers. So what are the most effective strategies for recruiting, training, and retaining volunteers and instructors who are skilled in working with diverse populations and adaptive equipment?
I'm wondering how involved or how much the PSAA can be involved in doing recruiting. Obviously, they're training instructors all the time to be able to, to suggest when you're through with your paid job, why don't you go volunteer for these people? If that's possible. We have a couple of volunteers that in the Vail area that are PSA adaptive instructors, and they will schedule days off if they can get them and come work with us. So it just that might be a good source to try and tap.
In terms of effective strategies, it's definitely helpful to have like a carrot, on the stick in front of the horse. And I've found that with the BOEC, they get a lot of success bringing in volunteers, basically saying like, if you help us with 15 days, we'll get you a free ski pass. And they're not so focused on bringing in skilled volunteers. They really just want good people because they know that just being around the instructors, being around the clients, the volunteers are going to learn so much, and then they're going to have a great time and just want to come back next year. So it's really just like hands-on training. But I have definitely found, especially to have a volunteer drive up from the Front Range for a day, it's totally helpful to have that carrot and kind of give them a little bit of a benefit. And we do the same thing here at Ascendigo. We have like the ski buddy program where we need folks to ski with little ones on the spectrum. And it's a lot to ask to give up 6 to 7 Saturdays or Sundays over the course of the winter, especially if it's like a powder day. So we say, hey, if you help us with that, we're going to get you a 1 day a week free pass to go to the Aspen Snowmass resorts. And then they can pay just a little bit more to upgrade it to like the full premiere. So yeah, it's like finding really good people, giving them a little bit of a carrot, and then showing them like a really great experience and then having them come back.
Yeah, Henry, that's absolutely, we do a similar thing. We with our volunteers, if they're guiding, and actually it's a program that Vail has supported us with. Every day a person guides, they get a free ticket for their own use or their family's use. And it's what we're finding is that usually they don't take the ticket because they're not there for that reason. They're there for the reason to work with the person that they're guiding. And I think probably the other thing that I have found in this particular world, I think in any world, I guess, if you look at it, is just the respect, show the appreciation, a pat on the back, thanks for the day, just that kind of stuff. A recognition is just huge. And we have 30 guides, 25 guides that we have, and of that, 15 are a core that have been there for probably more than 10 or 12 years. And they're just solid. And a lot of it is who they're doing it because they love it, but they do it because we respect them for what they're doing. Couple of things about recruiting volunteers that we found somewhat effective. Again, we operate in a small in that Vail Valley and stuff. Advertising in the Vail Daily reaches a lot of people in that valley. Another thing that we have found, and it's in resort areas, is just the summertime. You've got a lot of farmers markets going on. Set up a booth. It does two things. It'll get you some volunteer applications and hopefully some volunteers, but it also gets the word out about who you are and what you do. And this, again, this would be, I think, an excellent way if we had, like if Foresight had information about other programs out there dealing with things other than visually impaired and stuff. That it's amazing the questions you get. And if you have a resource to look at and say, oh yeah, hey, try this, or look at these people, that would just be a wonderful tool. Now I'll shut up.
Yeah, I'll add to that, Bill. We've got a couple of volunteers that have been volunteering with you guys for a decade or longer at least. So be a great program. Make them want to come back. If you're a great program, they keep coming back for more. Give them what they're coming there for. Our program is kind of unique in that we have 4 employees and 300 plus volunteers. A lot of our volunteers, we have 76 of our instructors are PSI certified, even though they're volunteers. Like if they go and take the certification test, they pass it, we reimburse them for it. So a lot of programs don't have that option. Again, being lucky on the Front Range, we have a huge pool of people to recruit. And Bill said, I found out about our program through the local Boulder Farmers Market. We set up at least 4 times there throughout the fall. But wait until now. Like, who wants to be there in July? I'm not in ski mode. Wait until now. The weather's starting to get a little cooler. Now go out and start doing your recruitment process. That's where we're loaded up. I'm at Fort Collins tomorrow. I'm at a lot of locations over the next 2 months because now is when the weather is kind of getting chill, a little crisp. It's getting that time. People are getting itchy to get on the mountain. That's when you want to recruit them, not when it's 100 degrees in August or July. Wait until the time. And then what can you offer them? I know Henry and Bill and them, we do 12 days. If they give us 12 days, they get a free season pass. But also do different appreciation. We have a big end of the season party that we cater. We have a band come up and we do that out on the deck, just for our volunteers. We're getting ready to have a kicking off the season event in 2 weeks at the new, I think it's called Chicken and Pickle up in Thornton. To get our volunteers all out there. And it's, what can we do to keep them engaged throughout the year and then know them? To me, that's the biggest thing. If you know somebody and they know that you know them, it's more likely they're going to come back. If you come up and volunteer and you do your 10 days and nobody says anything to you and nobody knows who you are, you might not come back again. But if someone in those 10 days takes you to the side, talks to you for 5 minutes, you realize, hey, I'm seen, people know I'm here. They know I'm giving my time. That makes a huge, huge thing. And it's, again, with us 300 plus volunteers a year, it's huge. I mean, we have to retain that. Again, we turn away 20% of our lessons for not having enough instructors with 300. So, if we lose 50 or 100, it's affects our lessons a huge amount in our participants. So, it's I would like to have one fall where I don't have to go out and recruit, but you have to, you got to keep people coming in. But get in front of them at things that are, what are skiers going to do? We get a lot of people reach out and say, hey, yeah, we want you to come out and do this. I'm like, that's not really our population. Great, we could go do it, but it's wasted time. And you don't want to waste your people's time. Put them in front of the people that are going to be looking to get out and do the type of sports, the program that you're doing.
Yeah, our
I think those
program's
are
very similar. But I was just going to say that culture is a huge thing. If your culture sucks, volunteers are not going to want to hang around. We do a lot of recruitment at the college, the rec center, the local ski swap that happens before the season starts. That's how we capture a lot of our people that are interested in skiing. And then, once you draw them in with those good incentives, they usually stay because, they like the community.
Yeah, I thank you all for sharing that. I have a lot of notes as we also have some volunteers. This is helpful just to kind of get some good ideas from. But yeah, I think I really like the focus on having less of focus on like what skill somebody brings and rather just they're just a good person and really just interested in kind of building that community, making those connections. But yeah, I think Rachel, like you were saying, having that incentive, drawing them in, and then just yeah, being a good program and making people want to come back just by the work that you're doing. I really like that. So yeah, thank you all. We have one more question before we wrap up our panel, and I am going to hand it off to Maria.
Thank you, Steph. I'm gonna steal your ideas for sure. I do feel like that feedback of going where people has time to waste, right? Like the farmers markets. Personally, myself, I do feel like I have that extra time and like to hear what people has to say when I go to those type of events. But moving into our last question and looking into the future, what technological innovations or policy changes are needed to continue to push the boundaries of accessibility in winter recreational, outdoor recreation to Heather, if you want to answer these questions, and what can we do to advocate for these changes?
In the world of technology, I know nothing, but I do know that and again, this is in the Denver area. I think there's one in Thornton, and I believe there's one down in Littleton. It's called Snowbond. And we have used Snowbond to pull people in. They have teamed up with us. They're very good about that. To pull kind of some never ever skiers or people that want to know more about it. Put them on that snow carpet that's continually moving, and so they can start picking up some of maybe basic fundamentals, a little bit of what the feel is, um, and we've had some success with that. So but that's a piece of technology that is out there that is pretty simple.
I'm gonna say on this one, work with your local college. I've worked with the CU engineering department 2 or 3 years now, where they'll have someone in the class who's working on something that would help with adaptive sports. It might not be something that ever gets completed or, can actually be useful, but it gets their mind to thinking of things that can be useful and used in the future for someone with disability. I had one last year. They were trying to make something that they explained it to me on the email like 3 times. I finally went down and met with them, and it made 0 sense. And I talked to them for like 30 minutes, and then they changed like 3 parameters they were working on, and it made complete sense for what they were wanting to do. But they had no personal experience on this was for part for a wheelchair. And I was like, well, I've been using one for 30 plus years. Yeah, let me come look at what you're trying to do. And I just couldn't understand what they were trying to do. But it's like, so again, just partner with, your local, whatever, colleges, schools, uh, you know, tech is tough. It's going to change. Lighter materials, stronger materials. I know I tried to sit ski in 1992, and then compared to what we have now is night and day difference. It was not even skiing. It was just sliding pretty much in a toboggan with runners and little 4-inch poles you stuck in the ground to drag and help turn. Uh, Compared to now where, people are jumping off of mountains and cliffs and the same type, what's made for the same type of skier. So it's, things have progressed. Work with those companies. Enabling Technologies is in Denver. They make a ton of adaptive ski gear. They came up twice last year for me to go out and take out their new mono ski and try out. So it's again having those relationships with them. Seating, there's a seating company down in Colorado Springs, South Denver, that we work with. They come up every Wednesday to help with our vets with their seating because they'll pay for them. Aspen Seating is the name of them. And again, we stay in contact with them. Now the guy that's running the place is actually one of my volunteers because he wants to come up and see like what's going on with the type of people that they work with, like what's the new chairs, the new equipment. So he wants to stay involved with that. So we have him as a volunteer. And I was down to their, facility to look at it all. They did a custom seat for me, but to look at it all. And now I was like, okay, I know what you guys do. I know what your technology does. I mean, they have 5 3D printers that are the size of my room right here almost, that they print all this kind of stuff out for custom seating, which is just really cool. So there's things out there being done. So just, find out what's happening in your area, what there is technology wise being improved on. Get in contact with them, see how they can help you if you're working on something. Seeing, Aspen Seating and Enabling Technologies are both amazing companies, amazing to work with. And that's, 2 of the companies we work with. And again, working with your local colleges, engineering department is really cool to work with. They come up with some great ideas, sometimes, again, kind of useless, but sometimes really, really great. And if they'll take your feedback, then they'll turn something sometimes useless into something really great. But, just again, it comes down to who's in your community that can help you with your program, can help develop new tools. Our program probably has at least 10 tools we use weekly that was developed by one of our volunteers. There's like, oh, there's a need for this to be used for this student. I'm going to make it. And then they go home, they come back a week later and they made it. And, it might take 2 or 3 versions, but it's really cool when you come up with new ideas and then take that, if it works really good, to one of these big manufacturers and have it actually manufactured and sold or given away to these other programs. So it'll benefit them as well.
Any other final thoughts from the panel before we wrap up? All right. Well, a big thank you to all of our panelists. It was really just insightful and great to hear all of your thoughts and ideas and feedback. Yeah, this is really exciting. We did last year, we did a panel for summer adaptive sports. So excited to have our winter season discussion. So yeah, thank you all so much. And I appreciate all of your time.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah,
Thank
of
you
course.
so much.
Yeah, it's
Thanks.
very useful. Thank you.
Yeah. So next, Maria is gonna just talk quickly about some of our upcoming technology training opportunities that we have available through Dr. Mac. So I will pass it off to her.
I just wanted to invite everyone to join us at our Dr. Mac, one of our monthly Dr. Mac tech trainings hosted at the library. Our next session will be September 16 from 12 to 1 p.m. I will be there. I will be the host for this training. And please, I would like to invite everyone to share this information if you think this is helpful for anybody in your community. Come and learn with me how to be more confident in navigating your smartphone. And if you would like to schedule a training for your organization, please reach out to the email on the screen. Thank you. Next, I think Latoya will be talking about our walk audit. Sorry, Steph, I interrupt you.
Thanks, Maria. So for those who have kind of been around, kind of been hearing it, seeing our stuff in newsletters, we're doing a walk audit. I'm really excited about that. We've already done our first walk audit in August, where we kind of went out to the space and looked and observed and kind of figured out what are the issues. And that was something that was a little bit more internal. Now we will be having 2 more walk audits, one that's going to be on the 18th, which is a Thursday, from 10 to 1, and then another one on the 29th, which again would be from 10 to 1. And so during those times, we would be basically walking door to door, passing out some information. We do have surveys that we're seeking to get some information or feedback from. And so we are partnering with quite a few folks. This area that we're doing it at is going to be between 17th and Monaco and 17th and Quebec, so that entire strip. Our walk audit will consist of walking 1 block and getting feedback 1 block north and 1 block south of the 17th block or avenue. And the folks we've partnered with are Pedestrian Dignity, Roll Mobility, Montbello Walks, Denver Street Partnership, the council members for District 8, which is Chantel Lewis, and District 9, Darnell Watson, and some volunteers that are also going to be attending, and many other folks in the community that really want to support this walk audit and are willing to come out there and kind of put their feet on the ground. So I'm really excited for all of this, especially being our first one, to see the turnout from that. So if you're interested in participating, attending, giving some feedback, we would love all of that support from you guys. Right here on the flyer, you can reach out to myself. I'll put my name in the chat and information in the chat. Or just show up. We would love the more the merrier, and so we're really there to try to make a difference if possible. So that's what we're doing. And we're, like I said, putting our feet on the ground and really supporting the community in any way we can possible. And this is one of the ways. So if you want to know a little bit more or are, interested in doing this and coming along, please just show up and we'll be ready to kind of, tag along with that. We are going to partner folks up with a pair going down so they're not by themselves doing this. We will definitely have water and sunscreen depending on the weather. Please dress accordingly. And yeah, any questions, please either ask now or reach out to me and I can answer any questions you may have down the road.
Thanks, Latoya. Now, I just want to remind everyone quickly about the RTD Zero Fare for Youth program and the Live Discount program. The Zero Fare for Youth is for youth 19 years of age and younger. It's free RTD travel with proper ID. And then the Live Discount program is for adults 20 years and older, when there's 50% off fares, which includes passes, tickets, and accessory. You can enroll via Colorado Peak. I'll put that link in the chat, or I'm get more information from the RTD website, and I'll put that in the chat as well. Pass it on to Arthur.
You're muted, Arthur.
Dang it. I just want to acknowledge all of the wonderful and amazing individuals and organizations that are a part of Dr. Mac. These are the organizations that help make sure that we can do everything that we do. If you're not a member, like I said, we're starting up new 2026 signups. So if you're interested, please reach out or check out our website where we talk all about how to get involved and how to become a member. So thank you so much. Colleen?
So now we are at the end of our meeting. We'd like to dedicate our remaining time to community updates. Let's collaborate, share any upcoming events or promotions that would benefit the group. Please unmute, raise your hand, or simply share in the chat. If you'd like to email us anything, you can send it to our marketing email address, and I will put that in the chat as well, but the floor is yours.
Sarah?
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I've been having some technology issues, but I wanted to share some updates that we had with Mobility for All. We have quite a few updates. I'm going to send them in the chat. Oh, except it says it's too much words for the chat. So, okay, so I guess I'll send half. Okay. So the first thing is that our Mobility Heroes campaign is now live. We have photos, videos, and an upcoming event. And we have, we'll start posting all that on social media. I have the YouTube link, and then we have our social media handle. Our social media handle is at, and let me look, sorry, Mobility, and then the number 4, and then all BC, because we're Boulder County. So that's our, yeah. And then the luncheon is in Longmont on October 15th if you want to come. We have the link here. Okay, so and then I'll put all those links, and I have a couple more. Sorry. This is not working. Hang on. Okay, there we go. Okay, that's the first little block of things. And then the next block of things is our last MAC meeting in August. We hosted a panel on victims of domestic violence and those transitioning from jail. And it was a very nice presentation. So I'll put our recorded link in the chat for the YouTube video. Our next meeting for the MAC Mobility Access Coalition is on September 17th. And the time is 1 to 2:20. And then I'll put the registration link in, but we'll have John Lopez on to talk about RTD Live some more. So very timely that you guys are talking about that. And then the last thing is I put a link to our press release because Mobility for All won a Dr. Cog Metro Vision Zero Award with our Mobility and Access for All Ages and Abilities plan. So with all of those things, does anybody have questions?
That is
That's
a
all
lot of
great stuff,
info.
Sarah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And congratulations on your Dr. Cog Metro Vision Award. That's huge.
That's awesome. Thank you, guys.
I just wanted to chime in real quick and remind everyone that I will be sending the meeting notes of this meeting and with all the links and the information that you share with us. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I can also email all of that because that's a lot of
Thank you.
links.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can do that too.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Sarah.
Guys. Yeah.
You were there at the award ceremony, Andrea? So
Yes. Oh, yes.
nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
Yeah,
I
my
really
coworkers
cheered
went.
for them.
That's amazing. Yeah, my coworkers went and they did amazing.
Trying to see if I'm gonna make sure I didn't miss any hands.
Oh, I put mine down.
It's okay. Andrea,
Sorry.
it's okay.
I'm getting really excited about my Silver Society on the Go, which is for seniors and disabled that are shut-ins. They do not leave their homes.
Awesome.
And I'm now in the process of applying for a grant to pay for the transportation to get them to, there's 5 different rec centers that have agreed to work with us. And I need transportation to get people there. And I actually have 2 transportation providers who are willing to help with this project. I'm so excited. Is Todd Glasser still here? He's one of my people who is willing to help with transportation. He is with Ride 2.
Todd, wait, is that Todd Glasser from MedRide or
Is it MedRide? I'm
I think
sorry,
he's
Todd,
Med.
if I
No, that's
messed
okay.
it up.
No, but that's
You
amazing
now.
that they're willing. Are they donating the time to you,
Oh,
Andrea?
heavens no, it's $60,000, but
Oh,
they
yeah.
are going to help with the management of the transportation process and preparing any reports that need to be prepared. We are getting a bargain. It is not their regular price.
That's amazing.
Absolutely.
That's what happens when folks work together.
It is MedRide and Ride 2 are the 2 organizations that want to work on this project.
I think Todd may have dropped off and
I think he
don't
did.
see right. Okay. Well, that's amazing. Any other updates? No. Well, we have the email is in the chat. So if you do think of anything that we can help to promote or share out, just send it to the Dr. Mac marketing email. We love to do that. A large part of what we do is information sharing. So we're always happy to share. any of your updates. And that brings us to the end of today's meeting. Thank you all for attending and for your engagement. We're excited to see you at next month's meeting scheduled for October 7th, 1:30 to 3 p.m. on Zoom. You can find registration links for all 2025 meetings on our website. Thanks again. We hope to see you next month. Enjoy the rest
Thanks.
of your day off. Thank you.